our plan now is to make ourselves a plumbed in sink. Now, I've already gone ahead and chopped down some trees to make ourselves some stairs, but I need to basically go and get a sink. I think we need a pipe wrench and a wrench, or just a pipe wrench, actually, I think will do. So we'll go grab one of those and then we'll get started. Now, I'm hoping that our van holds out for us for at least a little while, but I believe there's a couple of houses just sort of like the next street over that we can check out, and we should be able to get a sink from one of these houses. I think I'm going to look for a standing sink now, because it doesn't really matter what type of sink you go for. Having a sink inside of a container will obviously help you maximize space. For me personally, I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to try and find a standing sink. Here we are. Okay, yes. So with a pipe wrench, we can pick this up. Excellent. Okay, let's get this thing loaded into the truck and get back to base. We can start setting up our plumbed-in sink. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, because you might just be thinking, well, why can't I just use water dispensers or the rain collectors that we have set up already? The reason why is that by collecting a rain collector to a sink, you're actually ensuring a source of clean water. So it doesn't work quite the same as regular rain collectors. Even though it's collecting tainted water, that water will come out the sink as clean. So it's incredibly useful to have at least one of these plumbed in. And the sooner you can get these set up, the better, because ultimately, you know, we want to give it a chance to fill up before we start using it. So if like right now, the water is still on, which is great, and should allow our rain collector to fill up a little bit. Now, I've already chopped a bunch of logs over here. We're going to grab those. Now, of course, the biggest thing is to build our rain collector, I need access to the roof. And to gain access to the roof, I'm going to need stairs. Now, in build 42, you built regular wooden stairs for that. Now, there are log chairs, which require carpentry level 3. Or log stairs, rather, not log chairs. But we need carpentry level 3 for this. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start grabbing these and throwing them in the back of the truck. So we're also going to consider winter clothing. So how best to deal with winter. And I believe we're also going to talk about alternative food preservation. There isn't much in that respect right now, but there is a way to preserve food without a fridge. Okay, right, let's start dropping these here. It's gonna take a couple runs. That's okay. We're gonna build a lot of muscle strain here as well. In our upper and lower torso, our character will probably need to rest after this is done. That's all right. Okay, let's go ahead and drop these planks just here. Take a very short rest. All right, I'm not too worried about damaging my character too much, because essentially, when we're done here, we're going to get like the whole night to rest. So I'm not too worried, even though we're taking a little bit of damage. We're going to have like quite a lot of time to rest this out afterwards. So the main thing for now is just getting these stairs built. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to react to this like type of roof. So we might fall through this. Oh, we're okay. Okay, it is a little bit janky up here though. We do have to be careful. Now, when it comes to building the rain collector, you want to build it in imagine a 3x3 square around your sink, one floor above. So this tile here at the top where my character is currently stood, the tile my character is currently stood on would be the center of that 3x3 square. This tile would be fine. Likewise, this tile would be fine to place the rain collector. And if there were supporting rooftops, then obviously row of 3 either side here would also be fine. Let's get ourselves our rain collector set up. I'm gonna need 4 garbage bags. And we're gonna place this right here. You know what? I'll place it one adjacent, just so we can show that the 3x3 should work. Now that is now just going to collect rain. It is not currently connected. Now the last step of the process is we have to connect or plumb in the sink. So as you can see here, I right click. It will use the pipe wrench, which is the required item. And now my sink is plumbed in. And as you can see, it says empty rain collector. So it is hooked up to the rain collector now. This will give me running water. And more importantly, it's going to be clean running water. Hi folks, Duck from the present here after this video was recorded. I just want to slip in a very quick thank you to PC Specialist for being our amazing sponsor on this video. If you're not familiar already, the guys at PC Specialist hooked me up with a brand new PC a couple of months back, and it's allowed me to get series like these out to you guys in glorious 1440p resolution. I really can't speak highly enough about them as a business. They delivered a high performance system that was right for me as a content creator, and they do the same for gamers, professionals, and even folks on the go. You can use their highly accessible configurator to put together a rig that suits your needs, knowing that all of the pieces you choose will be fully compatible with one another, and on top of that, the cable management was just top notch, meaning your new PC will look nice and tidy. So, if it's time to upgrade, use my link down in the description and the code ATOMIC at the checkout for £30 off all configured systems. Thanks again to PC Specialist. Now let's get back to prepping your safe house. As far as I'm concerned, this base is now self-sufficient. We have our rain collector, we have extra rainwater being collected for our animals, we have our chickens, we have a butter churn, our feeding troughs are full of water, we've got an ice freezer, a generator, we've got fuel, we've hooked up a gas station nearby. Realistically, this safe house is now at the point where it's pretty much self-sufficient. So what's next? What happens when your base is self-sufficient and you've basically got to look to the future? Well, this is where the threat of winter becomes your next concern. And the biggest thing about winter, of course, is the reduced temperatures. Crops might experience some difficulty growing in certain months of winter, but otherwise, you're probably going to be okay as long as you layer up a little bit. And we'll show you soon where to go to get the best, like, sort of layered clothing for winter. While we wait for daytime to come around, I want to talk about food preservation. So, of course, you have a freezer, but what if, for example, you can't hook up a generator before the power goes off? Well, if that's the case, there are still ways to preserve some types of food. So right here, I have potatoes. I also have jars, jar lids. Most importantly, we have our salt. So salt, vinegar, jars, jar lids, vegetables of choice, and water. We go to the jar of produce. Make jar of produce. As you can see, we need water for this. 1 liter to be precise. So that would be, I believe, 1 bucket. 3 potatoes goes into a jar of produce. My character does not have the recipe, and I can see this here at the top right. So I don't have this recipe learned. I've gone ahead and spawned myself the appropriate magazine, which is American Homesteading. We're going to read this. So it's a magazine to keep an eye out for if you're interested in jarring produce. Now you can do this with other vegetables too, I should mention. Bell peppers, broccolis, cabbage, stuff like this. Basically anything that you would grow or you could find, you can jar up. And now this is preserved. Now, this will keep for a pretty long time. Won't keep forever, but it's pretty good. And just to demonstrate like how useful this is 3 potatoes. We open it up. As you can see, it is 74 hunger. The important thing is, once you've opened it, you cannot reseal it. So if you're going to be using this as a food, make sure that you're sure you want to open it before you do so. So I think the only thing we have left now is to prepare for winter. And like I say, our biggest thing there is our clothes. So I have picked out a place that I want to hit already. There is a clothing store nearby that we can go and hit. It's a bargain clothes store, which should be down to our south, I believe. So we're going to head to that bargain clothes store, and I think that's going to be our best bet. But if we had one close by, I would instead go to a military surplus store. Military surplus stores are amazing for winter clothing, survival tools. You can find things like tents, sleeping bags, survival knives, and usually they come with a locked room with like weapons and ammo as well if you're interested in firearms. So we may take a trip over to a military surplus store also. Here we are. This is bargain clothes. Drive around the back here. I saw a bunch of zombies out front, so I'm kind of hoping we haven't attracted too much attention. How much do you guys want to bet that there's an alarm on this? There's a lot of clothes in there. Okay, let's break this window. Might draw a few over, but I think I'd rather that than going around the front. Okay, so we're going to check this place out. We're looking for, this is the key thing. Now, what we're looking for here is the second stat on the list is insulation. We are looking for high insulation items. So things like a hoodie, for example, is a pretty decent one. So we'll grab ourselves a fresh hoodie. And of course, you can layer up as well. That's always something. So we've got a turtleneck sweater here, which is also good. But you can layer up. Things might not be that great in terms of insulation, but if you're layering them with other items, it soon builds. What I'm really after is padded pants, maybe a scarf or a winter hat. Whether we find them here or not, I don't know. It's kind of pot luck, honestly. But military surplus stores will almost certainly have that sort of stuff. Yeah, right now it's not looking like we're going to find those. It all looks like pretty summery clothing to me. Leather jacket. That's actually a really good item, just generally speaking. Good protection values. Now back to the truck. So we got a couple of clothing items. Nothing incredible though. So our next best bet is a military surplus store, and that is going to be a bit of a drive for us. But it's all the way out past Phallus Lake in what is or was, I think, colloquially called Ekron. So we've got a bit of a drive ahead of us. So we're gonna head out that way, and fingers crossed we get there without too many incidents. Came across this on the drive to the military surplus store. Just a fun little fact for you. Hodgett's Farm. Andy Hodgett's, one of the developers, I believe, for Project Zomboid. Yeah, just an interesting little tidbit of information. Anyway, not important to our long-term survival video, just thought it was interesting. And we'll continue the video once we reach the military surplus store. All right, here we go. So we're approaching our destination. There should be a military surplus store just down here. There's actually a bunker nearby here as well that was added in build 42. Holy, okay, they've beefed up the spawns on the military surplus store, eh? God damn. Okay, so this is probably related to the zombie spawn changes in recent updates, being based more around what kind of loot you can expect to find in a building. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to hit my horn and I'm going to try and lure them sort of over here and then slip in around the back. So after using the horn a bit there, I can see they are indeed heading that direction. They're migrating. Now, I don't know if that's going to be enough. It might make it manageable though. Worst case scenario, if I don't think I can get in, what I'll do is I will use debug mode to show you guys the kind of loot within. However, of course, this is at the end of should we say, your long-term prep, right? This is pretty much your last goal once you've got your safe house set up. If it means coming to a crowded place like this, that might just be something you have to deal with. It's going to take you a long time to get through this many zombies. It will be a difficult goal, but it is at the end of your list of goals. Just come into this expecting this to be your most difficult challenge. But if you're looking at a playthrough that's going to go long enough to be sort of a few months long, this might be what you need to do to get there. Taking it nice and easy here. And again, you probably would be, if you've seen the other series we did here, then this would be something you'd already learned. But yeah, we're just trying to stagger the approach to the zombies by just walking just inside their view radius, trying to aggro a couple of them and pull them away from the group. So we're not just pulling a massive group all at once. We're taking bite-sized chunks. Gives my character a little bit more time to recuperate between fights, lessen that muscle strain, and of course, the obvious, gives me a better chance of getting through them alive. Okay, excellent. Right, can I find my way to a window or a door? Okay, so there's no guarantee that it's safe in here, so we do have to be careful. It does look safe though. Question is it alarmed? Looking good. Now, straight away, we're seeing some very useful items from this surplus store. Aiming magazines. Worth me noting at this point, since they're here, aiming and reloading can be learned in build 42. It is a skill that can be learned that wasn't previously available like that in build 41. But what I'm looking for is things like this, a shamag. Look at the insulation stats on this item. Amazing for us, considering we're looking for winter survival stuff. So we're just going to wear that around our character's neck. Really, really good. Here we go. We've got a woolen hat here. We've got earmuffs, Padded pants. These are the king of winter survival. You can see here the insulation and wind resistance is right up there. They are maxed out on insulation and wind resistance, so that's really, really cool. Handy knife. This is also a really good late game item that you should be on the lookout for. The handy knife gives you access to several tools that otherwise you would need to individually carry, such as screwdrivers, can openers, bottle openers, that sort of thing. Canteen, amazing. So canteens are really good. Canteens can be placed on a rig or a certain types of belts, I believe. So they can actually be placed on a rig, and that will sort of allow them to be put on the hot bar. Be careful here, make sure I don't take on more than I should. Okay, so we've got a couple of good items here. A machete, that's like a really, really good weapon. Also got a compass here, which will tell you, like, you can equip it and it'll tell you which way you're facing as well, which is kind of hilarious in Project Zomboid. This is actually a really cool item as well. The whistle. Using the whistle actually is like louder than yelling. So if you really want to attract like a lot of zombies and you want to pull them from an area, a whistle is a really good way to do so. But I think that's going to be it for us from here. At this point, we basically just need to bug out. And of course, if I had a sledgehammer, I could, or even just through here, I could break my way into this room and there will be a bunch of guns and ammo in there. But we're not too worried about that. We've got our hands on our winter clothing that we were after and several useful tools. Now we can just head back to the truck. But hopefully that helped to demonstrate how, even though that situation looked really, really difficult to get into, we didn't just need to just drive off. You know, there was a way for us to get around that. Hopefully that helps to show you that, you know, if you come into a similar situation, it is possible to get around these things. And as you learn the game more, challenges like that will seem a little bit easier. Just to very quickly show you the temperature menu here. So you can see here, it'll give me a decent idea of how cold or warm, where red symbolizes hot and blue symbolizes cold. Right now, obviously, it's summer. I don't really need to be worrying about the heat. But if I start layering on some warmer items, you can see that certain parts have now changed to an orange and are continuing to go towards this red color. But again, yes, this should give you an idea of how to monitor whether you are hot or cold. So with that, our safe house is complete and we are prepared for winter. I believe that brings us to the end of our long-term survival series. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will be making a supercut of this as well, so you can watch it all in one episode, which will be uploaded to the channel shortly after this. If there's any Project Zomboid series you'd like to see from me in the future, just let me know down in the comments. I would love to know what you guys would like to see from me. Any other guides maybe that you think you would like to see as well. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this series, and I will catch you in the next one.